Hi everyone, it's been quite a long time, you may have noticed, since I've done a video, and there's a very good reason for that. Basically, I've been uh, going through something myself, dealing with something on my own that I thought I dealt with a long time ago, and it turns out that actually I didn't. So, as some of you know, I went on a retreat about 3 weeks ago now, and it was probably one of the most profound experiences I've ever had in my life. And thanks to some very lovely and amazing people, I have overcome something that I didn't even know was a problem. So basically, it's on my website and various other places. I think a lot of you know that I actually lost my mother to cancer when I was 7 years old. And I thought I dealt with that. I honestly did. But what I've learned since doing this retreat is that actually the way that I dealt with it was by not dealing with it. And what I mean by that is, even as far back as when I found out, I really wouldn't accept it. I became very angry. And the reason for that was, and it's no one's fault, but basically, we were always told that my mother would get better. And one day she wasn't. And it was such a shock, especially to a 7-year-old, that I couldn't deal with it. So I didn't, and I pushed it down, and I didn't cry at the funeral, and I didn't have any photos up of her, and I didn't think about her on her birthday. I forgot her birthday. I didn't remember which day she died on. I had no photos in my apartment. And on Mother's Day and things like that, I would say things like, that doesn't affect me, or it's not something I have to worry about. I was numb. I'd literally forgotten my mother. And it was really messing me up. And I had no idea. And I'm not telling you this because I want to get attention or I want likes or followers. I'm telling you this because I hope that you won't make the same mistake that I made. And it's ironic because I wrote a blog about grief and about how not to deal with it. But I suppose what I'd forgotten was, because I was 7 years old, I hadn't dealt with it, and I'd become so numb that I didn't even know it was affecting me anymore. I'd locked my heart away and I'd pushed all that grief down. And here's the thing about that. If you don't deal with grief, if you keep busy and you run away from it, if you don't acknowledge it, if you push those emotions down and don't let them out, you will get sick. Like, it's now proven that emotional trauma and trapped emotions and unresolved grief will eventually materialize as physical ailments. And I've had plenty, usually in my stomach. Like, I pushed it all down into my stomach, and I've had stomach problems most of my adult life, if not basically since I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it all makes perfect sense now. But now, thanks to some amazing people and a very intense but very therapeutic process, I can honestly say that I have dealt with it fully and completely. I did a lot of crying, I did a lot of soul searching, and I've literally been almost learning. My heart is now fully open, and it sounds a bit cheesy, not many people will understand what that means if they haven't been through something like that, but the way I was dealing with it, I got very intellectual, and I made a decision to make sure that I never felt that pain. And the way that I did that was, I had a very busy mind. I would always think 10 steps ahead. I'd be I'd plan for everything. I would have every angle covered. I would educate myself. And I was trying desperately to be this big, strong person that didn't rely on anyone else, fully independent. And it worked. But at the same time, it meant that my heart just got shut, and I didn't feel anything. I understood everything intellectually, and I was very good at teaching it, but it's a very different experience now. It's almost like I'm learning to use my body and my heart again for the first time, and it's kind of amazing. It's kind of powerful. So the purpose of this video, I suppose, then, is to just say, and I'll leave a link to the blog I did about grief at the bottom. Basically, you've got to feel it. You've got to acknowledge it. You can't run away from it. Because if you do, and you just do what I did, I mean, I was 7. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing what I thought was right at the time. But I'm just really glad. And the other thing I would say is, like, find the right therapist. Like, find the right person to help you. Because I've been to counselors and various therapists over the years, but I didn't even get close to sorting that out. And it took some very special people and a process to get to. So, and I know that I'm going to be a better therapist because of it. I'm going to be a better family member. I'm going to be a better friend. I'm just going to be a better person because my heart is wide open now. And like my clients and people I know, they're like, there's something different about you, like how your eyes are, how your energy is. Like when I'm in sessions, it's a very, very different experience now. So deal with your issues. You know, if you've got trauma, you need to let that go. You need to get someone to help you get rid of that. Grief, you've got to face that and feel it. I'm afraid it's painful, it's hard, but when you feel it, that's part of the healing process. And they talk about, you know, the stages of grief. Yes, but as you'll read in my blog, it's not quite as straightforward in that, and it's not linear, and every single loss is as unique as the person. So don't expect it to go in a particular order. What happens, happens, and you just need to be with it. And know that by feeling it and being with it, and looking at it, and acknowledging the person, that you will get better. So I guess that's my my video, and I'll put the blog at the bottom, and I hope it's been of help to some people. But I can honestly say that I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I feel at peace for the first time in 31 years. I just feel good. I'm kind of zenned out walking around, and my mind is so quiet, and it's great because I don't need to protect myself anymore. I can just be, and it's lovely. So there we are. Thanks very much.